What's good, everybody? Welcome to Boompa World. Whether you were born in 1966 or 2008, you probably ran into Scooby-Doo and the gang as a kid. And if you were me, you were lucky enough to be the main demographic for the Scooby-Doo movie. Total classic. Scooby's a big-ass iconic brand that has tried its best to adjust to change over the decades of its existence, for better and for worse.
Hey, watch where you're going, jerk! You cheat off me in Spanish because you think I'm Mexican.
A lot of fried shit. They've probably put Scooby on everything over the years. Dude is a household name. You probably had a Scooby-Doo sippy cup or something. Saw a Shaggy rolling tray at a smoke shop once. So yeah, of course they made a bunch of video games over the years and decades, the fucking millennia. The only Scooby-Doo games I remember growing up was on the Cartoon Network website, but my friend Justin recently visited, brought Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem for the OG Xbox, said it was his first game that he himself owned on his first console. Time to go down memory lane. Let's see if this game is worth the $13.99 he dropped at a retro game store, if it's still valid 20 years after its initial release. Behavior Interactive, aka Artificial Mind and Movement, dropped this on the cusp of their licensed game heyday. But they've gone on to make Naughty Bear, which is cool, and the super successful horror game Dead by Daylight. So maybe this one will be extra scaly.
Scoob, do you smell what I'm smelling? Roasted chicken with rocklet sauce and anchovies.
But before making that platinum seller, they had us switching between Scooby and Shaggy at the click of a button, finding the clues and solving puzzles to advance through the level and catch a freak.
And I would have gotten away with it too.
It sounds pretty promising at this point. Even the theme song was intact, just PS2ified, or Xboxified. There's a couple trailers for upcoming movies in the extras section, sent me straight back in time. Starting up a new game put you right into episode 1, where there's a bunch of ghosts at the Hambridge University library. The librarian happens to be Velma's neighbor. He hit us up to take care of it. The voice actors from the show reprise their role. They even have a damn laugh track like in the older episodes, which is a touch. I don't know if it's a good touch. We split up upon arrival, and as usual, Shaggy and Scooby get screwed with the spookiest area to cover.
Like, why do we always get the basement?
Before getting to explore, we also meet this suspiciously, not even on the screen for 2 seconds and was already clearly hiding something. But we run through the doors and save our game with this convenient camera. Save that photo. First thing we do gameplay-wise is our ghost cosplay and disguise in the eye hold sheet, which allows us to sneak past this blue ghost without having any problems. Our health is repurposed as the cool meter, which slowly shows our characters going from cool to like not fucking cool. Lucky for us, we can find Scooby snacks lying around and restore it good as new. There were carts of books to move, tight spots only Scooby could squeeze through. It had a lot of charm while it was going on. This suspicious Peabody-shaped ghost sneaks into the basement and we follow him. The controls aren't too bad. Do the job for handling these two goobs. Sometimes when you stop on a dime, it does this annoying ass cartoon brake noise stop and you overall feel just kind of more clunky than you want to. The camera could be better, but you know the deal. It's 2003 and all that. 3D platformers in their growing years. Exploring the area was fun, and as the game went on, the mysteries and riddles kind of ramped up. But they kept it pretty much if you're like 10 years old, you'll be fine. Before these ghosts can fuck with us, we find a book in the school's back rooms that will suck a ghost up, like Luigi's Mansion's vacuum or Danny Fenton's thermos. Before we could show the others though, we had to do the classic Scooby-Doo quest.
I can't see anything without my glasses. Can you help me find them, please?
Each time you use the Book of Doom, it drains this meter little by little, and you slowly unlock more pages to be able to capture more enemies throughout the game. To catch a ghost though, get used to tapping your ass off. That's like 40% of this game, 38.9% of this game. Yeah, unfortunately the combat seemed to slow the game down off rip, and I would prefer to avoid it, but a lot of times you have to clear out rooms to proceed. The coolest part of this level was when we had to fight the little shadow creatures on the wall. That one had me in Zoinks mode for real. After we clear out like the whole library with the book, ghost after ghost, everyone comes in trying to act useful like we just didn't do everything. But I love how the bad guys always have the place booby-trapped like crazy, like they perfectly planned this little flipsy-dipsy here. But yeah, we confront the fake ghost man, fight way too many more ghosts, and of course he happens to be old Mr. Peabody. And yeah, that's the end of the first episode it seems, but this Carmen Sandiego looking ass is stalking us as we move to episode 2, located at a Hollywood film set. Real estate dude dips and it sounds kind of fishy. We hop on the set and it's like a little village set at first, and we weave through backstage, but this time there's so much environment variety, so many colors, so much more going on, it made it more enticing to explore. Like after opening this drawbridge, we go to the next room and fake the moon landing. We couldn't kill the invisible ghosts, and they were lobbing shit at us while the challenges solved themselves, to be honest. Easy as hell. There's even a cool graveyard area. Look at this little King Tut grave. And Dracula trying to scare us in the crypt. The level was super imaginative and it offered so much variety. After collecting a page so the book can collect these invisible ghosts, it was time for revenge. This sneaky red knight comedically kidnapped Scooby and Daphne and we gotta save their asses. We utilized the mummy fit, moving and running on aqueducts in this Egyptian architecture looking area, avoiding Indiana Jones traps and shit. This fake haunted ship looked pretty cool, and the whole time one of the directors is filming and coaching us, which gets old after a while.
Okay, now look scared.
Like, I am scared.
Oh man, you're a natural.
Like, thanks.
After running past some pyramids and getting the mummy page, we can now fight what we've been avoiding the whole level, which is basically the same formula as the last level. Avoid the bad guy and solve a bunch of puzzles, then get the page that enables the book to capture them and fuck them up. And then you have to clear out all the areas you were figuring stuff out in. But I mean, every Scooby-Doo episode is pretty formulaic too, so fuck it. It took forever for real, this book to suck up these mummies though, my goodness. Take your time, take your time. After clearing off the upper level catwalk of the studio, we drop down and save our boy Scooby and Daphne. I was close to having fun, but next we had to trap the Red Knight by luring him into the sci-fi set. And unfortunately Fred's slow ass made us get chased for 3 fucking laps around this like area before he got the drawbridge right, but yeah. After running for a bit too long, we figure out it was the real estate agent from the start, trying to drive the value down and buy the studio for dirt cheap by making it haunted. Which, I mean, if you have the means of that's a pretty good sabotage, I'm gonna be real. This episode wraps up and was probably the most fun I had with this game. We even got fed low poly grapes on the way out like a damn king, as we should. Nothing really stood out as offensive or inoffensive, it just felt like an alright adventure game. There was no real platforming as you can't even jump, and overall you kinda just feel tanky. The next episode was located at a Red Dead themed amusement park. While Scooby and Shaggy fantasize about barbecue on the way there, John Marston tells us his rustling bustling theme park used to have guests till all the creepy ghosts and shit scared everyone away. There were more areas to investigate like a saloon. Pretty much every western thing you could think of was here. I really liked this minigame with the doors as it made you pay attention while also calling back one of the most overused shticks in this show. Made me feel like the people making this really did have a load of ideas that fit with the show and were at least creative. At this point the game has earned my respect, but not my love. This level had ghost dust devils, reminding me of that one Mario Kart track in the desert. This level had more involved puzzle solving with multiple keys needed at once, posters throughout the level that tell you what notes to play on the old-timey piano, and you even have to grab a shovel and dig our way into a minecart segment. And yeah, every time we died in this minecart segment, the crowd couldn't help but laugh. But yeah, this one-hit kill level was kinda hard. Quit fucking laughing. One tilt of the control stick would lead you to a dead end, or you couldn't tell if you were supposed to duck or jump. The obstacles came fast and this was something totally different from anything else in the game. It even had a loop-de-loop. Once we find a page and a few clues, we find our friends going through it on the merry-go-round. What looked like a fun boss battle quickly devolved into tapping our ass off against the same enemies we've been fighting the whole level. Surprise, it was the employee, and damn, this time Shaggy and Scooby don't get to feast at the end.
Indy's got the key to the food locker.
What? No, wait! Stop!
It's clear Greenwood Development is scamming people by haunting their area, lowering the value, and then buying it and reselling it. And this is beyond gentrification, folks. It's supernatural as hell. They brought this swamp after the ghost infestation, which is an interesting story for what you'd expect. At this point, I feel like we were better off just watching the Scooby movie for any nostalgic needs. But we were like more than halfway there, so I felt the need to see the game through. This level felt like more of the same in the Bayou, but it had these annoying Where's My Water-esque pipe fittings, and just depressing graphics overall that just made me kinda sleepy. Scooby and Shaggy did get to eat gumbo though, which was nice. Then Scooby left Shaggy to die and tried to act cute about it. Then him and this country boy named Billy Bob came back to save him. You were scuba diving through this murky ass sewage alligator water, and before we knew it, we were splinter celling through a military base with Billy Bob to save Shaggy. We were pulling off on his modified PW80, we were home free, even though this dirt bike segment went on for way too long and felt like it had some trial and error elements to it. It was still fun ass getaway, and if I was a kid I would have been stuck on that part for like days. Billy Bob was clutch as hell and had the zombie page, even got to enjoy a sandwich with the king. I realized Tom Kenny voiced him, SpongeBob and Billy Bob. He did a bunch of people in this game, which is pretty neat. Voice acting was just top notch. That was probably the best part of this game. I don't give a fuck about the voice acting up in a video game. It was actually a retired military hired by Greenwood Properties to clear out the zombies, and it wasn't any real armory covering up the scam. They're going to sell it to one of their other corporations, which is foul play apparently, and we are going to their futuristic headquarters to take down this mystery investigation at its source. This level truly sucked though, and it was super slow and you had to perfectly avoid the guards. Once you figured out the pattern to make it through, with 2 more fire fits I can't deny, you have to control this robot in this like gas. And it's like super fucking lame. I wanted action, I wanted the smoke, and this was pretty tedious and felt like a way to force my playtime out of this about 6 or so hour game. The adventure was pretty mediocre, and to have such a lame last level was always a letdown. After stealthing around avoiding these plasma guns, we are confronted with the lady who's been in the cutscenes the whole game doing bad shit. They mind control the rest of Mystery Inc. and we have to beat our friend's ass to get to the end of the game, or really just avoid them, which is a lesson. You gotta drop some bot friends sometimes. Librarian was a secret agent and we helped pin these fools, but the lady has one last ditch effort for world domination beyond her like real estate scam. If there was no Book of Doom, everyone would be fucked, basically. She sends out this big ass juicy ghost and we already know what to do. The gang lives happily ever after, Scooby gets his goddamn snack, and the credits roll. I saw a few videos recently covering these games, and I think looking off the thumbnails they kind of played them up a little bit. I had a fun time, especially with my friend journeying through, and he would recollect memories. But I think it's more worth a look back, maybe watching a video about it, because playing the actual game just had surprisingly low points despite it being so short. Most of the time it was just kind of boring. Walking around solving puzzles and saving your friends was cool. Yeah, imagination was there, but the game just doesn't really stand out too much. Even when I compare it to watching the show, they're pretty just similar. Even when I compare it to a licensed game from the time, I had a lot more fun with like Ratatouille. But yeah, I had a super trusty Scooby-Doo pillowcase growing up, and I always saw these games and kind of wanted them. And if I had this at age 6 or got to run through it growing up, I for sure would have had a blast and loved exploring the open levels. That was all I really needed back then. But without nostalgia, it kind of got stale fast for me. But I'm sure there's a space in my heart for it if I was like growing up with it. Even if the game may not be worth our time now, the environments and creativity stood out, and even though the mechanics don't really mix together to create a cohesive or fun experience, it was definitely memorable and felt like a quintessential Scooby-Doo game. I just wanted to jump around more honestly, or the combat, bro. The combat was mad. Combat was trash. The brain teasers make sense as you were a private investigator, but yeah, the combat just dragged the game down and made you spend even more time in areas. And beyond the movie set level, a lot of the environments were drab. I guess overall this game mixes so much variety of gameplay. It is a jack of like 12 trades and a master of none. Scooby's valid, the game's kinda valid, but definitely not worth $13.99. Sorry Nessie, that's your L. But I'll see you guys next time, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate you for making it to the end, handsome ass. We will be back soon with something PlayStation related maybe. I don't fucking know. Who runs this channel? Whatever the manager tells me to do.